Alright, so today I'm going to be comparing Tarte Shape Tape versus ColourPop No Filter Concealer, but I'm going to walk you through the typical routine that I do for a foolproof makeup application so that it lasts all day on my very oily skin. I love using the LA Girl Pro Concealer. I'm not sure what shade this is. I forgot, but I put it in the places where I want extra coverage, where foundation tends to rub away or where skin pokes through. I go ahead and I do my brows. First I use this Eylure brow pomade, and I use the Ardell brow powder as well as my Wet n Wild brow kit, which is very well used and loved. I use the cream first with the Anastasia Beverly Hills No. 12 brush, and then I follow up by setting that cream with brow powder. And by the way, I already primed my skin using my Holy Grail primers. I will have them listed in the description box below. Now we're going to go ahead and clean up my brow. So on the left side of my face, I will be using ColourPop No Filter Concealer for everything that I would use concealer for. I'm using the shade Medium No. 30 right now, and just going to blend it out. And then on the right side of my face, I'll be using Tarte Shape Tape for all of my concealing needs. And this is the shade Light Medium Honey. And just doing the same thing I did on the other side. I'm going to set my lid space with a light eyeshadow color, and now I'm going to move in with the Juvia's Place Nubian 2 palette and use this gorgeous shade Morocco in my crease using a Morphe blending brush. I love these eyeshadows so much. They are so pigmented and gorgeous, as you can see. And I'm also going to use the shade Madagascar. I'm placing that in my outer V and also putting it on my lash line and just blending it into the shade I put in my crease. Taking the shade Kenya, I'm going to further deepen the outer V of the eye with the same blending brush that we've been using. And to get a smooth blend, I'm going in with a clean blending brush that doesn't have any product on it and just melting all of those colors into each other. To test these concealers under eyeshadow, I'm going to use this to define the lid space on my eye. I want the eyeshadow to pop, so I'm placing the lightest concealer I have in both brands on my eye space. It's the same shade that I used to clean up my brows. And yes, I did clean off the brush in between mixing, going back and forth between both concealers because I don't want to mix them. I want this test to be accurate. Now we're moving in with the Saharan palette, also by Juvia's Place, and using the gorgeous shade Woe Da Bi. It's a beautiful goldish green metallic, and taking some Fix Plus. This is from the Fruity Juicy collection. It smells so good and the packaging is so pretty. I'm using this detail brush from Real Techniques and just patting the eyeshadow in the defined space that we carved out with our concealer. Now using the first blending brush we used, we're going to blend the lid color into the rest of the eye look. And I'm pinching the brush so that the color doesn't splay all over the eye and it just, blends where we need it to. Using the ColourPop Cream Gel Color in the shade Punch, we're going to do a winged eyeliner. I'm going to use the Inglot Duraline to try and make this color a bit creamier. It didn't really work that well, but we're going to do the best we can. And then after we get this liner on, I'm going to go ahead and set it with a yellow eyeshadow from a Wet n Wild palette called Hemporary Solutions. We're going to use the yellow shade. And I'm just going to pick up that eyeshadow and then spray that brush with some Fix Plus and set that cream liner. And this is how the eyes are looking. I really love it. So we're going to move on to complexion. I'm using my Holy Grail foundation, Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade Rich Caramel, and I'm mixing it with my L'Oreal Pro Matte in the shade Cocoa to match my summer complexion. And I'm using this giant body sponge by Real Techniques to blend that in. Now we're going to go ahead and highlight using Tarte Shape Tape. First I go in with the shade Medium, and that doesn't give me the structure that I want in my face. It kind of just blends into the foundation really easily. So I lighten it with the shade Light Medium Honey. I love Tarte Shape Tape because it's creamy, it's moisturizing, it's full coverage. I feel like I'm applying skincare when I use it, but it spreads quite easily, so less is definitely more, especially if you're inexperienced with using it. But as you can see, I'm just blending it into my foundation with the other side of the sponge that I already had foundation on. Now we're going to use the ColourPop No Filter Concealer for the other side of the face, and I'm going in with the shade Golden, number 40 first. And then I'm going to brighten that up with the shade Medium, number 30, which is what I used to carve out my eyebrows. I love the No Filter Concealer because it's full coverage, it's easy to blend. It also has an amazing wand. I love how flexible it is. So I would definitely pick the ColourPop wand over the Tarte Shape Tape wand. And now I'm just blending it in with a completely different beauty sponge. This is the smaller version of the sponge I was using earlier, and as you can see, it blends very well but doesn't spread all over the face as fast as the Tarte Shape Tape, so it kind of stays in the area where you put it, which is really good, I think. But again, I love both concealers, and the Tarte Shape Tape lasts on my oily skin, and so does the No Filter Concealer. So we're just going to compare them today and see what happens. But we're going to go ahead and contour now. I'm using Tarte Shape Tape in the shade, what shade is this? Rich. And I'm blending it out with the Real Techniques angled brush. And if it doesn't blend out the way you want to, don't worry, just go back in with the foundation side of your beauty sponge and just buff that into your skin. Now I'm also using a shade called Rich. This is from the ColourPop line, and it definitely has more red tones than the Tarte counterpart, and blending this out with a different beauty sponge again, and it's staying in that area that I placed it, not spreading as easily as the Tarte Shape Tape, but that's a good thing. And we're just going to go ahead and blend that into the skin using whatever leftover foundation we have on another beauty sponge. To contour the nose, I'm going to use another shade of the No Filter Concealer. This is the shade Deep. I don't want to use a super dark color on my nose because it's right in the center of your face. So if it's too dark, it's going to look crazy and it'll be really hard to blend. So that's why I went in with a shade that was a bit lighter than Rich. And I'm going to use the same shade of Shape Tape for the Shape Tape side of my face because this shade is pretty neutral, and I've contoured my nose with it before. So I like to just put some dots, not so much lines on my nose because I don't want to put too much concealer and then have it just be a complete mess. I'm going to blend it with this itty bitty baby Real Techniques beauty sponge, and then flip it over to the other side and blend out the No Filter Concealer side. This is my new favorite setting powder, the Beauty Bakerie Flower Setting Powder. I use the shade Translucent. Nikki Tutorials did mention in her video that it oxidizes, and I find that to be true, but since my skin is brown, it doesn't look that bad on me. So basically, if you highlight your skin and you went ham, when you put this powder over it, it will subdue the highlight. So you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm just dipping my beauty sponge into the powder, and we're just going to set our under eyes and our T-zone, and I'm going to use two different sponges for either side. Don't really think it matters, but I did anyway. If you have dry skin, you don't need this much powder, and I don't even know if you would like this powder because this keeps my oil on lock. But baking is a necessity for me and my oily skin, and it keeps my foundation locked in all day. This is the Shea Moisture Powder Duo in the shade Deep. This is such a good powder set. It's a really gorgeous powder that's not too drying. So if you have brown skin, definitely try this to either contour or set your entire face with if you're deeper than me. So I'm using the brush that came with this powder set just to wipe away the excess baking powder that I've got, and I'm going in with my Urban Decay dark powder, dark warm, and I'm going to go ahead and set the rest of my face that I didn't bake. Now I'm going to contour using that Shea Moisture Powder Duo. I go in with a lighter brown shade first, buff it out, and then I deepen that with a darker brown shade. This is my all-time favorite blush, Toasted Almond by Black Radiance. I'm using a Morphe fan brush, and I'm going to top that blush with the NYX Ombre blush in Nude to Me. And then I'm going to set my brow hairs with this brow mascara by Wet n Wild, and I'm going to finish off the eye look on the lower lash line with the shadows that I pointed to from the Nubian 2 palette. And then I'm going to add some lashes. These are the Salon Perfect lashes in the style Go Glam. I still have to contour my nose, so I'm just setting that cream contour with the brown shade from my Shea Moisture Powder Duo, and I'm using this toothbrush looking thing. I picked this up at my local beauty supply. I've seen a lot of brush companies come out with brushes like this, or you can just try and find it at your local beauty supply as well. It works really well for contouring the nose and getting into tight spaces. Then I'm going to buff out those lines with whatever powder's left on my face powder brush. I'm spraying All Nighter Spray by Urban Decay to set my makeup, and I like to do this before I put on my highlighter. This is Wet n Wild Crown of my Canopy, and I'm just going to apply this to any high points of my face where I want to glow. And I finished putting on this makeup at 10 a.m. So it's 10:26 a.m. and on the left side of my face is ColourPop concealer, and on the right side of my face is Tarte concealer, and I also used it on my eyes beneath my shadows. So we're gonna see if the concealers wear the same. ColourPop concealers are $6 and Tarte concealers are, I think, $24, so huge price difference, and we're gonna see how they wear throughout the day. Okay, so it is 4:05 p.m. The last time I checked in with you was at 10 a.m. and I had my full makeup on, so 10, 11. I've had my makeup on for 6 hours and I'm intending to wear it for 12 hours. So I got a bit more time to go, but it's still looking pretty good. I'm oily in my T-zone, so you do see some shine coming through the nose, but I haven't had to blot my face or anything. I did put highlight on my nose too, so that could be contributing to the shine. But this is the ColourPop side, and this is the Tarte side. So let's see if there's any creasing. There's no creasing going on under here. What about the Tarte side? No creasing going on. This side of my nose looks good. The corners of my mouth look good. Yeah, and my eyeshadow is still very vibrant, and I used the concealer as a base on my eyelids as well. So both sides are looking perfect, so we'll check back in with you in a little bit, and I'm gonna eat and do all kind of stuff. But I've been outside in 90-degree weather. I went to my Bible meeting. I've been outside in the elements, and my makeup has held up. So yeah, we'll update you later. Okay guys, this is terrible lighting, but it is 9 p.m. Both sides of my face looks pretty even, and the makeup has held up really well. I'm gonna try and get another light and show you what's going on. I wanted to wear the ColourPop concealer and Tarte concealer for 12 full hours to really show you how it lasted, but I'm feeling so sleepy and I just want to take out these contacts and wash my face and get ready for bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I think wearing it for 11 hours is pretty close, right? So on the left side of my face I have the ColourPop, and I'm going to come closer. I have not touched up my face at all. I've just let the natural oils come out, and I haven't repowdered or anything. So yeah, this is how my face looks. And of course my nose got oily. I mean, it always does. I had ColourPop over here. I'm not having a lot of separation, so under the eyes hardly any creasing, very minimal right there. This is the ColourPop side. Now the Tarte side, also very minimal creasing, just right in here, but under there no creasing. So both of these concealers are fantastic for creasing. Amazing. Coverage, I feel the coverage looks the same. I don't feel like one side looks like it's has more coverage than the other. On both sides of my face I feel like the coverage looks identical. On the forehead looks identical to me. I also use the darker shades for contour. I noticed that the ColourPop shade is a bit more red, whereas the Tarte shades seem to be a bit more yellow toned, but they both gave the desired effect. And then on my nose, this is the ColourPop concealer. I use the shade, I think, Deep. And here was the shade Rich from Tarte, and I mean, it looks pretty much the same. As for eyeshadow primers, I also use them to prime this shade on my lid, and the eyeshadow looks perfect. It looks vibrant. My lashes are falling off, but just ignore that. Yeah, so final verdict is that ColourPop wins. They have done an amazing job with their formulation. I'm so impressed and happy to have a great concealer at a $6 option. We have a lot of great drugstore concealers already, but this is a great addition. ColourPop did a great job, and looking forward to see them expand their line of colors even more to include more darker skin tones, more mediums, more lights, just so that everyone can find a shade for them. But I think they started out good with their 15 shade range, with 5 in the light, 5 in the medium, and 5 in the dark. And Tarte Shape Tape is a fantastic concealer, but if you want to save money, definitely try out the ColourPop and you won't be disappointed because it lasts. So I am going to wash my face and go now. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great evening, day, weekend, whenever you're watching this. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram at Forward Fashion, and definitely check out my latest video. It's going to be somewhere over here. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time.